Have you ever seen something so sad and powerful that it changes the way you see the world? Imagine a little girl with big, hopeful eyes, forced to sleep on cold, hard ground in an empty playground every single night. Now picture a very rich man, someone known for his strict ways and very little emotion, who sees her deep sorrow and, for the very first time, bursts into tears. This is not a fairy tale. This is a true story of hardship, hope, and the power of kindness. In a busy, bustling city, there lies a quiet playground. During the day, the playground is full of happy laughter, with children swinging high and sliding down bright-colored slides. But when the sun sets and the sky turns dark, the playground transforms into a lonely space. The swings creak in the gentle night breeze, and the laughter is replaced by silence. It is at this quiet time that one little girl finds her only safe place to sleep. Every night she settles on the cold concrete, using a broken blanket to shield herself from the chill. Although the playground is a place built for play, for her it has become a place of rest, a shelter from the difficulties of life. This little girl, with her tired eyes and brave heart, carries dreams of a warm bed and a loving home. Her story is both heartbreaking and inspiring, a true lesson that even in the toughest moments, hope can be found. From a very young age, the little girl has known hardship. Every day is a challenge as she walks empty streets, searching for food and a kind word. She misses the gentle hugs, a proper meal, and a safe place where she truly belongs. When night comes, instead of a cozy room with soft pillows, she finds herself in this quiet playground, surrounded by shadows and the distant sounds of the city. Sometimes in the silence of the night, she looks up at the stars and wishes for a life that others take for granted. Her eyes tell a story of dreams and quiet strength. Even though her life is filled with sadness, she never stops believing that one day everything might change. It is in those twinkling eyes and those silent wishes that hope glimmers, even if just for a moment. On the other side of the city lives a man who everyone calls a millionaire, a very rich man whose life is full of fancy cars, tall buildings, and expensive clothes. This man has always been known as someone without much feeling, a person who trusted numbers more than emotions. He runs big companies and makes decisions based on hard facts and balance sheets. Yet even though his days are filled with meetings and business deals, a deep emptiness often hides beneath his calm exterior. One chilly evening, by chance, the rich millionaire took a walk near the playground. Having stepped away from his luxurious car and fancy building, he found himself in the cool night air. It was then that he saw the little girl curled up on a bench, her eyes fixed on the sky as if she was talking to the stars. In that moment, something inside him shifted. He saw beyond the surface, a child filled with quiet sorrow and deep hope, and his heart, which had long been closed off, suddenly broke open. Overwhelmed by compassion, he began to cry. It was as if all the wealth and power in the world melted away in a sea of tears and genuine care. You might wonder, why did a man who had lived in riches his whole life suddenly cry? The answer lies in the power of empathy, a feeling that connects us all. When we see someone hurting, our brain sends little signals, almost like tiny messengers, that make us feel their pain. Scientists call this the mirror neurons effect. It is nature's way of reminding us that we all share the same human heart, no matter how different our lives might seem. Imagine you are playing with your favorite toy, and suddenly you see a friend drop theirs by accident. Even if you are happy with your own toy, you might feel a small sting of sorrow for your friend. That feeling is like a tiny spark of empathy. With the little girl, the rich man's heart skipped a beat as though he suddenly remembered how it feels to be small, to be hurt, and to need a friend. Even grown-ups with all their money and success have moments when their hearts feel heavy because true care touches us like nothing else. That one heartfelt moment in the playground marked the start of an incredible change. The millionaire, who had always measured worth in numbers and dollars, began to see life in a whole new way. In his eyes, the little girl was not just a poor child. She was a symbol, a sign that hidden under the weight of money and power, everyone has a story that matters. He realized that true wealth is not found in bank accounts, but in the kindness that shines through small acts. After that night, the rich man visited the playground not as a stranger from a faraway world of wealth, but as a man transformed by what he had seen. He started to notice the challenges faced by others: a cold night without a warm home, a hungry stomach without a full meal, and began to act. Just like a superhero who finds a new mission, these visits sparked a change in him. His tears were not just a moment of weakness, they were a spark that ignited a desire to spread kindness and offer hope. In the days that followed, the millionaire's visits to the playground became more frequent. He began to talk with local helpers, learned about the struggles of many people living on the city's fringes, and slowly started to build a plan. His goal was clear: help the children who slept in the cold and help families who could not afford a safe home. One of his first steps was to provide warm blankets and hot meals for the little girl, along with other children who had similar stories. He carefully planned a small shelter, bright, safe, and kind, in the same playground. With help from local volunteers and other generous people, the shelter became a small but shining beacon of hope. The playground, once a place of lonely nights, started to transform into a haven of care and support. This change was not just about one man helping another. It was a reminder that every act of kindness matters. The rich man's tears had shown him that even one small gesture of care could invite a cascade of good things, like ripples in a pond. And soon those ripples reached far and wide in the community, uniting people from all walks of life. If you ever wonder what makes a difference in the world, think of this story as a simple guide. Every person, no matter how little they have or how much they own, carries a heart that can shine brightly. We learn from this story that hope is not only given by those who have little, but also rediscovered by those who have everything. Even a cold, hard millionaire can find his warm heart again when he sees the truth behind a child's eyes. It is much like a puzzle where every piece counts. You see, life is a mixture of many small pieces, and when one piece is missing, the picture is incomplete. This little girl and the millionaire are two different pieces of one big picture, a picture that tells us to care, to act, and to never forget that every tear, every smile, and every kind act helps to complete the world. Let's use a simple example. Imagine you and your friends are building a huge Lego castle. If one friend doesn't put in his best block, the castle might look weak in one part. When everyone works together and adds their piece, the castle becomes strong and beautiful. In the same way, every time we care for someone, we add a little block to make our world a better place. Our actions, however small, help build a stronger, kinder community. It is also important to realize that even technology has a role in helping people in need. Today, many smart people use the internet and computers to share stories like this one. They explain how kindness can be spread quickly. When one person does something good, technology can help the news reach millions of hearts, teaching us that every act of care can inspire others to do the same. Teamwork makes our efforts even more powerful. Just as scientists study special chemicals in our brain that light up when we care for someone, communities find that working together brings better results. You might not notice it now, but your small acts of kindness, perhaps sharing your snack during lunchtime or helping a friend with homework, join with others to create a big, warm community that can drive even the hardest hearts to melt. Remember a time when you helped someone small, a friend dropping pencils or a classmate feeling lonely. That simple act can be just as powerful as the millionaire's tears. They remind us that every kind action, no matter how tiny, has a role in building a better future. Sometimes, even in sad stories, there is a little room for a smile or a laugh. Think about when you try to stand on one foot because you saw someone doing it in a game of tag. For a moment, it might seem silly, but it teaches you balance. In our story, there is a funny similarity. The rich man used to always wear very fancy shoes that shined in the sun. One day, while carrying a heavy box of papers, he accidentally stepped in a puddle and his shoes got all muddy. For a moment, he looked like any other person who makes a funny mistake. That little slip reminded him that even if you are rich, you can have embarrassing moments, just like everyone else. Humor, even in small doses, can help us remember that life is not always about money, but about the little unexpected moments that bring us closer together. This gentle humor shows us that sometimes the best lessons come not from grand speeches, but from everyday mishaps that we all can relate to. It is a good reminder that while life deals out tough lessons, it also gives us moments to laugh and smile and then try again. As days turned into weeks, the millionaire's life changed in ways he never imagined. His visits to the playground were no longer moments of sorrow, but steps toward rebuilding a small community filled with hope. He began learning about the lives of those around him, talking to community helpers, reading about local issues, and even visiting busy markets where people shared their own stories. Slowly, the rich man started to help in many ways. He offered money for building safe spaces, but more importantly, he offered his time and kind words. He listened to the stories of parents who struggled to support their children, and he learned that every person has a battle that no one else can see. His heart, once hardened by years of business and numbers, had learned that every cry, every tear, and every smile is important. This transformation shows that we can all change. No matter how set in our ways we might be, one clear moment of deep understanding and even a few tears can open our eyes and inspire us to act. The story teaches us that the best version of ourselves is the one that cares most for others, and that every single tear of compassion is a sign of true strength. With the new shelter built and warm meals shared every day, the playground began to change from a place of loneliness to a place of laughter and learning. The little girl, who once huddled alone in the cold shadows, now saw friendly faces smile at her. Other children, who had also experienced hard times, gathered together to help one another. Workshops were set up where people taught basic skills, and even small art classes brought bright colors to the walls of the shelter. Every morning, as soft sunlight warmed the ground, the children would step out with hopeful eyes. They began to see that while the past could be very hard, the future might be filled with possibility if they worked together. The playground was alive again, not just with play, but with lessons of life and community spirit. This new beginning shows that change does not happen all at once. It starts with one brave act. one tear that shows emotion, and one decision to care. And when even one person decides to change, that change spreads like ripples in a pond, reaching many others who are ready to add their own block to build something beautiful. Let this story be a lesson to each and every one of you who watch it. Life is not about the shoes you wear or the money in your pocket. It is about the warmth of a kind touch, the strength found in a shared smile, and the hope that glows even in the darkest night. The story of the poor girl and the cold millionaire reminds us that even if we come from different worlds, our hearts can beat in unison. Every day gives us a chance to be the change. Even a small act of kindness, a smile, a helping hand, or even a sincere tear of empathy can change someone's life. And that, my friends, is what truly makes the world a rich and beautiful place. I believe that we all carry a little light inside us. Sometimes that light is hidden under layers of worry or business, just like the cold millionaire hid his warm heart under piles of money and success. But when we see someone in need, that light can break through. I think each one of us can learn from this story. No matter how busy or scared we might feel, we each have the power to care for one another. It is important to take these moments to reflect on the value of compassion. We learn that every bright moment, like sharing a toy with a friend in class or comforting someone who is sad, builds a stronger, kinder world. This is a truth that even grown-ups sometimes forget. But stories like this help us remember that love and care are the real treasures in our lives. So when you watch this video, think of that little girl in the playground and of the man who learned that even the richest of hearts can change. Imagine how many more lives could be brightened if we all found a little more time to care, listen, and help. Now, as this story comes to an end, let us also see it as a new beginning. Our world is full of small acts of kindness waiting to happen. Just as the playground once felt empty and cold, it now buzzes with hope and community spirit, all because one caring act changed everything. I invite you to do something kind today, whether it is helping someone with their bags, smiling at a stranger, or even sharing this video with your family and friends. Know that every small act matters. You might be surprised at how one tiny gesture can create ripples of hope, just like in our story. Remember, you have the power to change the world. Even if you feel small or the days seem too dark, a kind heart and a caring spirit can bring a bright light into someone's life. Let this story remind you that we are all connected, and together we can make our community a better place. If you enjoyed this story and learned something new today, please click the subscribe button. Stay with us and join a community that cares about spreading hope and kindness. Also, check out the video on the end screen where we share another amazing real-life story of transformation and compassion. Your support helps us keep sharing stories that matter.